Hello, everybody. My name is Matt, and today I'll be presenting to you 15 chess jokes and puns for April Fools. This is the agenda of what I'll be covering in today's video. First, I'll talk a little bit about myself, and then go right into the 15 chess jokes and puns. My goal is to keep this as clean as possible and at the same time provide some humor. And I will include a question format for most of them, and I also included memes as well for some jokes. And then afterwards, we just go into the credits and acknowledgments section. First, before going into the jokes, I'll talk a little bit about myself. I am currently ranked as an expert in the United States. I am part of the Quantitative Biomedical Sciences QBS program at Dartmouth College, and my concentration is biostats and epidemiology. And graduation is a little more than 2 months away. I finished all my course credits in November, and now I'm just waiting to graduate. My hobbies outside of chess and academic life are Rubik's Cubes. I like solving them and collecting them, and I have a whole collection of them at my house. I like playing the piano. I just recently got back into it, and it is a good way to relax and de-stress. I like exploring and walking around different lakes, which is part of the Dartmouth culture, traveling, and many more. And I may not be close to the best chess player in the world, but I am an Impact Chess member with high hopes to expand chess and at the same time get better. And by the way, Impact Chess is a nonprofit organization that started off in Princeton, New Jersey, and its main mission is to expand chess, help it grow in areas, particularly around the Princeton area. Now we get into the first chess stroke and puns. There are a lot of talented rising kids in chess at Princeton, New Jersey. There are so many reasons to explain why many kids will be potential elite chess players there. And this is what I think, and I can be completely wrong. That town has a ton of princes ready to become kings and rule the chess world. It also has a ton of princesses who will become queens and dominate the chess world. I wonder if there's a street called Princeston Street in Princeton. Number 2, Mr. Crosswalk is a data scientist who went to the Princeton Public Library on a Saturday afternoon. He was working outside the storeroom and he saw the Impact Chess sign through the window. He was so enthralled that he got the data on the sign-in sheet with all the participants for the first hour outside the door and imported it to SQL on his PC. After querying some data on SQL, he was like, wow, and went in the storeroom and saw at least 2 tables of chessboard set up. What did Mr. Crosswalk say next? Feel free to pause. And the answer is, can I join in for a game? And the meaning behind chess joke and pun is that, as a refresher, it was mentioned that Mr. Crosswalk wanted to join the chess event as he was querying data. And of course he can join. The event is welcome to anyone and it's free. And now we get into the real meaning behind this joke. SQL stands for Structured Query Language. It's pronounced by SQL and is commonly used in fields of data science, data analysis, and stats. I even used it in my coursework. It involves lots of join statements to join tables together. That's where the join part comes into play when I mentioned that Mr. Crosswalk wanted to join the chess event. It also involves a lot of querying and data manipulation. Number 3, it is the final round of an open tournament on September 18th, and King Neptune has the perfect score so far. He has the white pieces versus SpongeBob. He places his cheeseburgers on the table and quickly opens with knight f3. He notices that SpongeBob looked very confused. What did he say to his opponent after he made his first move? Feel free to pause. And the answer is, I'm ready to win. And while I'm on the slide, I'll quickly explain chess notation for those who are not familiar with it. So you first start with the name of the piece. R for rook, N for knight, B for bishop, Q for queen, K for king. And for pawns, it's just optional. And then you follow by the letter, which is shown on the horizontal side. And then the number on the vertical side, kind of like on the standard XY coordinate plane system. And it's pretty straightforward. And the meaning to this chess stroke is that the opening that I showed in the previous slide is known as the Reti opening. It sounds like ready, and that's where the main pawn comes from. It's a flexible and solid opening for white. And King Neptune is also more prepared and confident than SpongeBob is. As SpongeBob looked very confused when King Neptune opened with knight f3 on his first move. And the meme to the right explains it. Number 4. King Neptune booked the hotel room with a king-size bed on December 15th for a big tournament. He was concerned that something would happen to his king-size bed, so that's what he did. Feel free to pause. And the answer is, he decided to check on it. And the meaning behind this chess stroke is that, as a refresher, it was mentioned that King Neptune went to check on his king-size bed because he was concerned. And for those who are new to chess, check is a phrase used to alert the opponent that their king is in danger. However, in tournaments, especially at the higher levels, people don't say it. And the king is the most important piece, and it's worth the entire game. So king safety is definitely really important. And it's also worthy to protect your king. Number 5. Chess is a merciless game. Everyone wants to win, and everyone is competitive, just like applicants entering the job market to get their dream job. In fact, a lot of strong chess players get very respectable jobs. Which group of people in the job market are most likely to not be remorseful at all after winning chess? Feel free to pause. And the answer is software developers or AI developers, because they're cold-hearted. Cold-hearted sounds like cold-hearted, which means people who have no empathy. And people who are cold-hearted tend to go super hard on the code. Another point I want to mention is that top chess engines are developed by senior-level software developers and engineers in a way that crushes human players mercilessly. So I believe these top chess engines will destroy the top human chess player in the world, Magnus Carlsen, hands down. And below is a list of 4 examples of top chess engines, such as Stockfish, Deep Blue, Fritz, and Leela. Number 6. This is Professor 133.32 Pascal's favorite chess opening on the right. True or false? Feel free to pause. And the answer is true. As a side note, he was my 2022 winter term biostats professor. And the meaning behind his chess stroke and pun is that Pascals is the standard unit of measurement of pressure, such that 1 torr equals to 133.32 pascals. The opening that I just showed is known as the torr attack. It puts pressure on the opponent, and the diagram to the right explains it pretty well. In a way that Black can get in some serious trouble if he does not play accurately, meaning that if he does not know the opening theory. And I have to admit, I have trouble with this opening sometimes, even at the expert level. So I just have to study this opening more, so when I face it open over the board, I will feel less pressured. Number 7. I was so happy when my rating first hit 1K. The next week later, I was in terrible form. I wasn't feeling as well the week before. I could hardly breathe and I had poor energy. As a result, I lost 200 rating points from losing all 5 games, falling way under 1K. I was discouraged. What was my excuse for my poor performance? Feel free to pause. And as a disclaimer, this is a make-believe scenario, meaning that this did not happen in my real life. But the answer is, I had very poor potassium levels, and I was not okay. I let me rip my 1K chess rating. The meaning behind this chess stroke and pun is that 1K equals to 1,000 chess rating, and solid for those just starting out chess. I also mentioned that I lost my 1K chess rating, and I was not okay. My oxygen and potassium levels were very bad. And O is the chemical symbol for oxygen, K is the chemical symbol for potassium, and that's what the OK part kicks in. As a pro tip, always go into every game in good form, well rested, and full of energy. Eat well, sleep well, and finally, of course, play well. Number 8. Copper and helium are having a funny casual chess match. Helium has the white pieces, and copper has the black pieces. Helium plays rook f2, laughs and says, he, oh no, my rook. That's how Copper will respond. And as a follow-up, should Copper listen to Helium and take a rook? Feel free to pause. And the answer is, Copper says, see you later. Nice try. Maybe next time. As Copper declines the rook and puts the game away. Copper was right by not taking the rook and moves it to queen to d1, which is forced checkmate in 2. LMAO rip. GG well played. And the meaning behind this chess joke in pun number 8 is that Cu is the chemical symbol of copper. And taking the rook would have been a stalemate. And the stalemate is defined as no lethal moves for the opponent's king when the king is not in check, meaning that there are no pieces attacking it. Number 9. This is a pretty pitiful story, and I decided to turn this into pun and joke, so that way you all can learn from it. So I brought my Rubik's Cube to a quad chess tournament, thinking it would give me good luck. I was the only one with 2-0 going into the last round. After the second round, I was desperate to get a new PB, but I solved my cube in 21 seconds, which is still very slow, and I failed obviously. After many failed attempts to get a new PB, I started to wear my brain out. As a result, I was losing focus, and I started to tilt the remaining round. Guess what I told myself afterwards? Feel free to pause. And the answer is, I was in the lead. I could have led my whole section and won $50 if I got a new PB. And I ended up getting half the amount because I tied for first, since I obviously lost the last game. LMAO rip. And the meaning and lesson behind this chess joke is that PB is the chemical symbol for lead. It's pronounced like lead for some reason, but it's spelled LEAD. It also stands for personal best, and that terminology is used a lot in cubing. And as a lesson, it's really important to have a clear mind going into every game. Don't let one loss or any other setbacks affect your performance. Focus on what's in front of you, and don't let other little things distract you. And always rest your brain before every game. Number 10. Pastor Lee and the Easter Rabbit are having a tense chess match. The Easter Rabbit has the white pieces, and Pastor Lee has the black pieces. The Easter Rabbit just played queen to h5, thinking he's got this in the bag. But that's how Pastor Lee responded as he thwarted his opponent's plan. Feel free to pause. And the answer is, Pastor Lee played g6 and said, silly rabbit, tricks are for kids. And the meme and meaning behind his chess joke in pun number 10 is that the Easter Rabbit was going for Scholar's Mate trick, which is one of the basic checkmates, and it's also known as the formal checkmate. And I can tell you, at the experience and the high levels, people never fall for this trick. Another point to make is that kids are so good at finding tactics and using simple tricks. So definitely watch out for them. And as a pro tip, don't just play for simple tricks, hoping that your opponent will mess up. And don't underestimate your opponent. Always develop a long-term strategic game plan and follow through on it. And always try to find the best move on the board and calculate the best lines possible. Number 11. There are a few interesting chess drama stories that I heard that happened at tournaments run by New Jersey Chess Association. One of them involved some guy screaming, "You're playing the last round. I paid $20 for this," over Budcast at the Amateur Team East tournament. And another one happened at the Amateur East individual in 2018, a few months later. But this one was more extreme. Some guy was chucking pieces after a loss and put on a blacklist for the New Jersey Chess Association. That's what the tournament director most likely said to that guy as he was kicked out. Feel free to pause. And the answer is, no more pieces left for you, Chucky. No pizza ever again. And here's a meme to represent this. And that guy got his nickname Chucky because, of course, he was chucking pieces after losing, as shown in the top. He's pretty angry, he's pretty upset, and he means business. And in the middle, he gets kicked out for bad sportsmanship, and notice that the level of embarrassment when he walks out the door. like that's what Chucky is covering his face. And on the bottom, Chuck E. Cheese is closed for good. And that guy's never allowed to come back to the New Jersey Chess Association for what he did. And this is very important. Always show good sportsmanship even after a loss. And parents, please don't scream at your kids. Number 12. What did the cow say to a guy with 0 chips when he was blatantly stalling as he was about to get checkmated? Feel free to pause. And the answer is, move, 0 chips. And here's a meme to represent this. And the meaning and lesson behind this chess joke and fun, number 12, is that stalling is defined as intentionally not moving and letting time run out when you're in a clearly losing position. It's very unsportsmanship-like, and people with 0 chills tend to stall and to have 0 tolerance to losing. And they also tend to do other bad stuff, which I will not get into. This is very important. Don't stall. Women's Grandmaster Susan Poldar said this quote, "Win with grace, lose with dignity." And that quote sticks in the back of my head, and it makes me the chess player and the person that I am today. Number 13. On my 8th birthday, I got a chess set. I asked my parents why they decided to give me a chess set. Can you guess the response? Feel free to pause. And the answer is, they said I was gifted, but yeah, I wish. And as a fun fact, my birthday is on the 13th day of the month, but it's pretty late in the year. So that's why I made this one the 13th one specifically. 13th joke and pun, I meant. Number 14. A 30-year-old avid rock climber just climbed to the top of Mount Everest with ease before losing muscular strength. He returned to chess after 10-year hiatus and found that his chess rating has remained stagnant for a long time. His main reason that he could not progress further is that, feel free to pause. And the answer is, he already peaked. And the meaning behind chess joke and pun number 14 is that rating peaks or plateaus are a sign that it's very difficult to make progress. And it's pretty common at the high levels. And the higher you get, the harder it is to improve. And it has a correlation in rock climbing in a way that muscular strength and brain development start to slowly decline in the 30s for most adults. And it's true for chess too, like players in the 30s, 40s, 50s, tend to like go down in rating, and some even hit the rating floor and never go back up again. Same for rock climbing, as I mentioned, that muscular strength declines. People have a hard time climbing up to the top. Number 15. This tough chess game between 2 strong players has been going on for 3 hours, and they reached this position. It is being streamed live and commentated. What would the commentators most likely say about this position? Feel free to pause. And the answer is, it's going to be a long night. And the meaning behind chess joke and pun number 15 is that, in the right, this is an example of a close position. And close position takes so much longer to win compared to open positions. And knights are a lot better in close positions. Blacks has better chances shown in the diagram, but it's going to take a while for the game to end, assuming if they don't agree to a draw. And another note I want to point out is that White's bishop is super passive, and it will take a long time to figure out how to defend. And it's passive because it's known as a bad bishop because it is stuck between its own pawns, meaning that it has limited mobility. And that's the end of the chess joke. Now I will go on with the credits and acknowledgements. Special credits to the Impact Chess team for the following: the interesting chess drama stories, the 2 that I mentioned earlier, like when some guy yelled, "You played the last round, I paid $20 for this," over Bughouse, and another one involving some guy chucked in pieces. The LMAO rip catchphrase for every chemistry-related chess joke and pun that I made. And I'll explain on that. I got this one from the Discord server back in September, after mentioning how bad one of my chem classes was. I remember people were talking about AP classes and other classes, like science classes, like some saying like how bad and how tough they were. And I mentioned that one of my chem classes was cursed by a whole letter grade, and that was the response, LMAO rip. I know I haven't met you yet in person, but I did use your phrase at least like 3 times in the video. So I have to give you credit, and I believe it's fair if I do. So thank you for that. And then the Princeton Public Library Chess Jokes and Puns. And thank you all for supporting me and holding my chess events at the Norwich Public Library in Vermont, which is about 5 minutes from the Dartmouth main campus. And of course, giving me encouragement to make this video. Special credit to my quantitative biomedical sciences friends for the following: the SQL or SQL related chess joke and pun, the rock climbing chess joke and pun, and the pressure chess joke and pun. Thank you all for watching. I hope you really enjoyed this video, and I hope you got some good laughs out of it. I really enjoyed making up this video, and I enjoyed coming up with the jokes. Thank you all again, and good luck in your chess endeavors.